Hello, I'm Joanne, and this is Joe Mama's Garden. Today, I wanted to share with you what's been going on in the last week. I was out of town. Unfortunately, we had a death in our family, and however, I did get to go back to Alabama, where I had great time seeing some people I have not seen in about 25 years. But let's check out what went on in the garden while I was gone. This is the harvest from 4 days of not being out in the garden. I'm sure there are more, but these are the ones I could find real quick. Isn't that amazing? 4 days. That was it. The garden is really going crazy. This is the wild time when everything is really grown and producing as much as it can. The Kajari melons over here are starting to turn orange. And I see a couple tomatillos over there that are starting to get pretty big also. The tomatoes in the worm bed have produced some ripe tomatoes, and let's check them out over here. Some birds did get to some of them. I'll get that off of there. But we have some here, has a little crack in it from some water, a little too much water. And let's see over here, there's a tomato back there. The tomato plants are stressed from the heat. It's 116 today, I do believe. So they are curling a little bit from the stress. They're definitely getting enough water, not too much water. Over here in the Kajari melon area, we did have two that cracked from the water. I don't know why that happened, but we definitely have some still growing, so we'll get to enjoy those. Come along here. I do just have this one tomatillo plant, and we are getting our tomatillos. Tomatillos are kind of like tomatoes, and they self-pollinate. So we have quite a few growing. That's going to be great in salsa, and I really like them as fried green tomatoes. They have the same taste and quite a bit of meat inside. I still have not gotten any of the sour gherkin off of here. I don't know if it's too hot. I mean, I definitely see that there's flowers and, you know, there's the beginnings of fruit. I just haven't harvested any. I mean, there's a little fruit here. Hopefully that grows, because I want to really have those for the first time. More of the Kajari melons, and they are really going to town, producing some fruit. And I think there's a ripe one back here. Let's go to the other side. Here is the ripe Kajari melon. They're surprisingly heavy. We're gonna try this one today. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this. You know, you don't really harvest them. You don't have to until they slip. But I'm afraid they're gonna crack because it's so hot. I don't know if that's why. or not. But that is beautiful. Perfect size. And these green beans, I really thought because of the flowers that they were going to give me some green beans, but they haven't. This is our trellis with the loofah. I don't have any new loofah. We still just have the two, but it's really climbing this trellis. This is the underside, and the loofah are really pretty big now. On this loofah trellis, I did have this plant that kind of volunteered, and I believe it is a Crenshaw melon because it's a smooth skin and it will turn yellow when it's ready. It has a very long growing time. Over here we have more Kajari melon and some cantaloupes. I have not gotten any cantaloupe or muskmelon. We have the tomatoes here that had to get restaked and tied up. They were just going crazy and falling all over. And potatoes drying out. This pepper plant is having some larger peppers. And birds got to this tomato and this one over here, but I do have others that are growing on here. I do have little nets to put over the tomatoes. I just didn't get to these early enough. This is the birdhouse gourd that planted itself. And as you can see, we have a little gourd developing. The acorn squash could be a Gouda squash. That plant looks a little different. It's more silvery. And these are the huge zucchini plants. Absolutely huge. Planted a pineapple top. I'm going to see if it will grow. This is the broccoli that came back after I cut it off at the stalk. Didn't think it was going to grow in the summer. We could harvest the greens. I'm kind of interested to see if this will actually produce some flowerets. This is our zucchini. Huge. The Armenian cucumber is doing great over here. Still has some fruit on it. I put this TP trellis over it to help stabilize it because it was getting so heavy. These zucchini are growing. I don't know why it gets that little bulb at the end. Acorn squash, starting to get the color. These tomatoes here, I did not thin them down like I thought I was going to, and they're doing okay. Some more birdhouse gourd that planted itself. Tomato has flowers. And one thing that is so exciting is we have our watermelon growing. I think that's a Carolina something. And there's a few on here. I saw another one. Let's just step over the row. I know there's another one in here. But we'll move on. And then over here, we have this, and there's a little watermelon right there. Zucchini, more watermelon, little baby. And the sweet potatoes did get a little munched by rabbits that did get into the garden, but they're coming back. The dill is growing, and over here we have a couple pumpkins. And this pumpkin is starting to get a little orange, and we have another one here. And that might be all of them for right this moment. Nope. Here is another one right here that is growing. And because of the time of year, I want to get some pumpkins for October, I planted some new pumpkin seeds that have sprouted. And some onions popped up. And over here to the north of the garden, we are getting ready to expand. I am so excited that we are going to be able to have more space to grow. We did move the shed. There was really no we about it. My husband tore down the shed and moved it over here so I can keep all of the garden tools inside the garden, and all of this space is going to be fertilized and mulched, and this desert dirt is going to start to grow, and I will keep you up on the progress of this. Today I was watching Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm, and she said something that, really made me think and evaluate how I had planted my garden. And that is, what plants were too close together? What did I wish I had more of? And then I can make those adjustments when I'm planting again. And luckily, I am going to be able to plant a second season because it is so warm in Phoenix and we get such an extended growing time. When you're planning your second planting for the summer season here in Phoenix, think about starting them as seeds, start them as starts, or what you can direct sow now next to something, and when it's done, the plant is finished that you're going to be replacing, you can just cut that off, leave the roots in the soil. It can go ahead and decompose, and you get fertilizer from that. We have plenty of time to do a second planting since our official frost date is mid-December. So we have 5 months to harvest. So start thinking what you're going to plant next. Thank you so much for joining me today on this garden tour. I know it was kind of short, but I don't have a huge garden here in Phoenix, but when we get that extended part done, we're going to be growing a lot more things, and it's going to be great. I'm so excited. Until next time, goodbye.